Good morning, and thank you very much. As Vice President of the North Dublin Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to thank you for taking time to talk to us today. And Capitalflow has been on a great journey, and I guess the first and obvious question is, tell me about the business and the background and the services that you offer.
Yeah, so we're a specialist finance business. We were set up 5 years ago really to focus on providing SMEs in particular with choice. So finance products that they use every day for their business, and really provide a choice to whatever else is out there, be it the banks or other non-bank lenders. And we've been very successful over the last 5 years. We've grown the business. We've over 55 people now in Capitalflow. We've got over 5,000 live agreements with SMEs right around the country, all different types of SMEs. So yeah, it's been a great journey so far, but we're not finished yet.
Yeah, no, and it has been a fabulous story. Obviously, it's in the North Dublin Chamber of Commerce heartland, and we followed with interest. And it's been a great media presence about Capitalflow. And I guess from a business perspective, access to funding is always critical. But what's been like in the last couple of years, and how easy is it for businesses to access funds?
I think the theme probably back when we started in 2016 was access to finance was particularly difficult. And as we all got out of the financial crisis that everybody experienced, access to finance became less of an issue, but it was more around, I think, the understanding of the smaller businesses and the experiences they were having. So they weren't necessarily having problems with access to finance. The problem was finding a business solution or finance solution from a provider that really understood their business. So we really got to know them, kick the tires. A bit like, I suppose, Stephen, if you go back, a long time ago when the banks had branches in local localities, and the bank manager was involved in the GA club, and he was involved in the rugby club, the golf club. He knew everything about the businesses. That's kind of gone now. And I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring that into what we offer. We can't have a branch, obviously, in every location, but we really take the time to get to know our businesses and actually have people in the business that actually are well able to make decisions. So they don't have to go to head office. They can actually give advice to the customer, either on the phone, on Zoom, or hopefully back face to face in the next few months. So yeah, it's really important that when you're an expert and you're a specialist, that you have that kind of experience of being able to provide the right type of solutions to a customer. And in fairness to the banks, you can't be all things to all people. And if you have only two main banks now, because Ulster Bank have obviously made that decision, it's a bit like Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael a bit. They're kind of similar. So I think having a choice, having an alternative lenders, like ourselves, we specialize in leasing and hire purchase for all different types of equipment that an SME would need. We do property lending, mainly buy to let. We have some pubs and we have some hotels as well that we've funded, and some restaurants. And then we have another product called invoice financing or invoice discounting. And again, it helps business with their cash flow. So it's quite specialist. It's not necessarily niche because lots of people use those products. But again, we don't try to be all things. So we want to be really good at what we offer. So that's kind of the difference, and the choice, I suppose, is the kind of the buzzword now. It's not access to finance. It's having the right finance partner.
Sure. Yeah. And tell me, Ronan, if somebody wanted to avail of your services, one of our chamber members or just a business in the general North Dublin region, how quickly does it take for decisions to be made to turn that around into, if I needed 20,000 to invest in capital equipment or something like that, how long will that decision take with Capitalflow?
Yeah, I think, there's two parts to that question. First of all, we're not trying to replace the banks. So you still need your current account, you still need your overdraft, you still need your relationship with your bank. I think that's the first thing to call out. And as I said earlier, we're not trying to be all things to all people. But if you made a call to us and you said, look, we needed 20,000 because we want to buy a forklift for our warehouse or whatever, we'd probably know pretty quickly now, to be honest with you, whether we can do the business. But with an application, which probably takes about 5 or 10 minutes to complete, we have a digital portal now. You could go in through the digital portal even and get a response within probably 4 or 5 hours, if I'm being honest. For something as small as that, we range, our loans range from 10,000 all the way up to 10 million. So it really depends on the complexity of the application. So we want to be quick and we want to be flexible, but I don't think, and I've heard alternative lenders talk about how quickly they can get the money out the door and stuff like that. But I've never met a business owner that wakes up in the morning and needs 100,000 euros by the afternoon. So it's really I think what businesses need is certainty, that when they do apply, they're not going to go through the hoops, that they're not going to get lots and lots of information in dribs and drabs requests, and then at the end of it be told, sorry, you're not accepted. So what we'd want to do pretty quickly within the first day or so is actually say, yeah, that's a good deal. We need X, Y, and Z. We get the information from you, make a decision. Or else we say, you know something, we don't think you're ready for that level of funding yet. Maybe take a smaller amount and let's run with that and see how that works for your business. So it really just depends, and it depends on the sectors. As you know yourself, there's kind of there's parallel recovery going on here. You have the tourist section, the leisure sections, the gyms, the hotels, the restaurants, they really are trying to survive. And then on the flip side, you have, distribution, construction, in lockdown at the moment, but ready to kind of take off. And we kind of see it nearly like a K-shaped recovery. So we see these businesses really accelerating over the next 6 to 24 months, while the others are going to take time and need to be nursed through this. And hopefully we start seeing tourists come into the country towards the back end of the year. And next summer will be hopefully a really good summer for those businesses again. So yeah, it's a whole mixture really.
Yeah. Okay. I suppose just from going back to the company, it's been a great growth. I think you said there you got circa 55 employees today. For a business that started in 2016, it's fabulous growth and development. I suppose, how did all that come about, and what were the challenges that you faced that might help some of our other member companies as they go on their own growth paths?
Well, you definitely have to be an optimist anyway. I think anyone who's starting a business, I mean, I was lucky that I met up with Pollen Street Capital, who are a private equity firm who specialize in financial services. Unusually for them, they backed a business which was from scratch. So it wasn't as if we had established a business and they bought into it. So they helped grow it and fund it. So they backed a business plan. I think you need experience in what you do, and you need to be really clear on what the purpose of the business is. I think if you're clear on what the purpose is and why you're establishing, and that there's a need for your products and services, I think that's the first place. And then you obviously need to know all about the market. You need to be competitive, and you really need to have a good service. I mean, Irish people, probably like everybody else all around the world, but in particular because we're so local, everybody knows everybody else. So if you give a good service, it's word of mouth. And a lot of our business has grown from introductions from other customers as well. So I think you need to be competitive, but you also need to be genuine. And when people meet with you, that they go away with that feeling, yeah, these guys are really in it for the long haul. They're going to support me through the ups and downs. They're not just going to support me when we're in a growth strategy. Since lockdown, we've been supporting thousands of customers because we know they're really good businesses and they need support to get through this. So it's important to have that. I think then that loyalty sticks with you and you can grow on that.
Okay. And then again, just from which would be of interest to companies, is you're on a great growth curve. You've got a buzzing office, etc. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people in there, you're bouncing ideas off and everything is on the upward curve and we're growing and developing. And then COVID comes in. How has Capitalflow adapted to that? And what's the last 12 months been like for the business in that respect?
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of went through it in 4 phases, the way I would describe it. I mean, it was obviously a shock to the system for everybody. One day everybody's in the office, the next thing you're all working remotely. So the thing for us was phase 1 was very much kind of what's going on here, how are our customers dealing with it, how are staff dealing with it, making sure everybody was safe to a certain extent. And then phase 2 was really trying to get under the bonnet and actually trying to work with those customers to see where their cash flows were. Also working with our staff to see, what was your setup at home like? What support do you need? Do you need a new screen? Do you need a new chair? And, very common, simple stuff, but stuff that actually makes a difference. And then we went about, making difficult decisions. So we had to cut costs, we had to, unfortunately, people had to be on temporary layoffs. We had to, cut salaries, projects that we were planning to do, we held off on. The only project that we actually invested in the last 12 months was our digital project. And we invested significant time. We've recruited 5 people into that digital team in the last 12 months because our eye was always on to the 4th phase. And the 4th phase is all about growth. So it's a growth mindset that we started. So we were very much in survival mode, like everybody else. But I think survival mode can only get you so far. So for me, if me, Oliver Hurtig there behind you, a sporting analogy, to me now we're into the second half. And what people have to realize, I suppose, or what they should appreciate is that we're in the second half has actually started. And some businesses need to kind of wake up to that. And so do we as a business and some of our team. And, we need to really kind of rally ourselves to kind of say, right, second half now, this is where you have to start scoring points. This is where you have to start making progress. If you're a golfer, it's the back 9. You've done the front 9, you've held on, and now you want to make a really, really good score for the back 9. And that's the way we're treating this, because when it gets to September, October time, you really have Christmas then, and you're going to have to hit the ground running in January. And the only way you can do that is have everybody really focused on growth and having that growth mindset. And then you take advantage. You hopefully take advantage where some of your competitors may not be as agile or nimble anymore, or just customers like what you're doing and they want to do more of it. And the most important thing, you bring the team with you. So your team is everything. You don't do things on your own, and they need to understand that they've gone through a really difficult time, but that we can't dwell on that. We need to really look forward all the time.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And Ronan, on behalf of the North Dublin Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to thank you very much for your time this morning. You alluded to the picture of my background there. It is the wonderful me, Oliver Hurtig, who I know we could both listen to all day long, but that was a fabulous chamber event. We had 150 people in a room that was absolutely humming, and hopefully in a few months' time, when we're allowed to have meetings in person again, you might be kind enough to come to a North Dublin Chamber event and speak and tell us a bit more about Capitalflow, and hopefully it'll be continued progression, in the next 6, 9, 12 months for the business that we can all celebrate and share.
Yeah, and it'd be great to meet the members again and talk to them and hear their stories and how they've got through, COVID, because I think by sharing experiences in person, we can actually support one another. And really, that's the key thing. You bring people together and they can make a difference. And no, I appreciate it.